Fringe too. You don't like him, then you sniff glue. Hey everybody, welcome to Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday. I do apologize for the video quality. Just simply put, I'm not at my full gear capacity, and I'm in North Dakota, so working with what I got. Um, just popping in, wanted to do this while I have a few minutes before we go do last day of um our last day of VBS. Been here this week in North Dakota doing Sidekicks, a superhero VBS kind of faith and fandom based. And we're on the last day. Fly back to North Carolina tomorrow. And 1 week I'll be kicking off at Heroes Con. So all the fun things. Uh yeah, gonna jump right in. And same as normal, live on Facebook and YouTube. Good evening, Tristan. Hope you're doing well, man. Um, so let's jump on in stuffs. By the way, if you've got stuff that if y'all that are watching or listening have news you want to share too, holler. Be glad to talk about that too. But kicking off, Pluto has announced that they are starting a 24-hour a day Mr. Rogers channel. Starts this month, but they will be playing Mr. Rogers 24 hours a day, which, you know, it's definitely not a negative. The world could use a little more Mr. Rogers, I'm assuming, but that is coming. If you remember back when the Chiefs won not this Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl before, Travis Kelce got kind of in trouble for trying to approach the presidential podium and speak. He tried to walk up and talk and address the nation from the presidential podium and got shut down. Well, this year they actually allowed him to do it after they won the Super Bowl. So he actually got to go up and make a My Fellow American speech. So he didn't say much after that, but it was just kind of a fun full circle thing in that capacity. Uh, I think I may have mentioned this last week, but just in case, Dexter, the show about the serial killer, is getting a prequel series called Dexter Original Sin. And they're not just focusing on like Dexter's young past, they're actually going all the way in terms of casting actors for all of the original cast, young versions of all of them. So all the way down to the detectives, to the forensic examiners, you're going to get young versions of basically everybody in this Dexter prequel show. And uh, Michael C. Hall, who played Dexter, the original Dexter, is promoting the show. So we may get kind of a young Sheldon vibe of him actually narrating the series. So we'll see how that plays out, but that is coming um, in those capacities. Let's see what we're doing. Um, y'all, if y'all didn't see The Acolyte, the first two episodes dropped this week. Strong martial arts vibe, young cast of all stars and future all stars. It was fun. On a Star Wars note, I've mentioned a couple weeks back that uh, Oscar Isaac is going to be playing Jesus in an upcoming animated film, and Forrest Whitaker was in it. Now, Mark Hamill has joined the film as a villain in the story. He might be Caiaphas, he might be something of that level, one of the high priests, but Mark Hamill has officially joined the series as a villain. So we're getting Oscar Isaac as Jesus, Mark Hamill as bad guy. I'm here for it. I mean, I was here for it from the beginning, but I'm here for it. Um, Netflix officially dropped the announcement and showed the script that a Peaky Blinders movie is coming. It's there's not a lot of detail of it yet. It's just, it's just a Peaky Blinders movie, but Netflix posted the script and that it's coming, and Cillian Murphy is also commenting on it. So we are going to get that. which is good because I wasn't necessarily happy with how it ended. On sequels slash prequels on stuff that we don't always need. There is another Hunger Games movie and book coming. Well, they're announcing the book, but you know the movie's coming. Okay. There's a new Hunger Games prequel book about the second quarter quell that Haymitch won. And it's called Sunrise on the Reaping. I might actually read that one. I tried to read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes when it first dropped, and I was just bored. I've heard the movie is much better than the book for that one, but I would probably read a Haymitch book just because I enjoyed Haymitch in that capacity. If you're a fan of Dragon Age, there is a new Dragon Age game that is coming that's changed titles a couple times, but it's officially called Dragon Age The Veilguard. And there's going to BioWare is going to be previewing footage for it on June 11th. So Tuesday, BioWare is going to be previewing footage of the new Dragon Age game if you want to check that out. There's also going to be a new Wallace and Gromit movie coming to Netflix with the return of the penguin that's going to terrorize their life. So if you need some, warm fuzzy claymation action with a penguin, Netflix has you covered. And there's an I Am Legend sequel that will star Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan. And the thing that I feel like this is going to be a confusing thing for people because in I Am Legend, in the movie, Will Smith dies at the end of the movie. But there's an alternative ending on the DVD. The sequel is based on the alternative ending. So if you've never watched an alternative ending on the movie, then the sequel is going to seem a bit weird. And I'm sure they'll cover that in the film. But that is happening. Just like if you're a Scott Pilgrim fan, there's an alternative ending where Scott chooses knives, which is just weird. So if you want to check that out, that's going to be there. Taco Bell has brought a giant Cheez-It to its menu, like a Cheez-It that's the size of like this. It's a Cheez-It that you can get inside of a Crunch Wrap, and they've got some other variations. So in the worlds of blending our snacks and our fast food together, we got a little bit more game there. Dungeons and Dragons is officially getting postal stamps. So if you're a stamp collector, like I've got a few stamps. I've got a Wonder Woman set, a Batman set, a few Star Wars sets. Dungeons and Dragons is officially releasing postage stamps, and they will be first available at August in Gen Con in August at Gen Con. So if you're going to Gen Con, they will be first available there for that show. Nationwide, Dr. Pepper has officially become the second most popular beverage in terms of sodas and soft drinks. Still kind of right behind Coke, but they've officially replaced Pepsi. And so I feel like, anything's possible in life. We Dr. Pepper took down Pepsi. There is a new horror movie. It's a folkish horror movie called Starve Acre, starring Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, about some stuff that starts to happen in a relationship over child loss and things like that. But it's gonna be kind of morbid and creepy. But yeah, Starve Acre, starring Matt Smith, is coming. And if you're familiar with the show Baby Reindeer, uh, the lady who Baby Reindeer was based on, Fiona Harvey, has come forward, I mentioned, and she is suing Netflix for $170 million in a defamation lawsuit. We'll see if it plays out. I don't know that there's a ton of evidence there for defamation itself because she's the one that ousted herself, not anybody else. We'll see though. The Lion King is officially returning to theaters on July 12th to celebrate the movie's 30th anniversary. I literally remember sitting in the theaters for The Lion King, so that doesn't make me super happy, but that also means a Goofy movie is coming up on its 30th anniversary. Hold on. When did a Goofy movie come out? 1995. That means next year is the 30th anniversary for a Goofy movie. Super pumped about that. April 7th next year will be a Goofy movie's 30th anniversary. And I am honestly more excited about that than I am the Lion King's 30th, but it's where we are. I hope Goofy movie gets a 30th release as well. Because Zack Snyder doesn't like to play in just one sandbox, he is releasing an animated series called Twilight of the Gods, which will also be on Netflix. Um, and Netflix has done a good amount of mythology based animes lately with yeah, there's just been a handful of mythology based animes they've been doing, and Zack Snyder's officially leading one called Twilight of the Gods, which will be on Netflix in the near future. And also have to, if you're excited about House of Dragon or you're just ready to get a little more Matt Smith and some villainry, House of Dragon season 2 will officially premiere on June 16th, HBO Max, which is Father's Day. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday, House of Dragon season 2 will drop. On a sad note, Mandisa, the gospel singer that passed away a few weeks ago, um, people were kind of like all over the place on why she passed. Some people were reporting self-harm, some people were reporting her father thought it was COVID related. Um, According to a medical examiner, Mandisa died of natural causes due to class 3 obesity. Natural causes due to class 3 obesity. And I don't even know what that means or what to make of that, but that's the official medical examiner's report. Yeah, still sad. Um, Elvis made religious news this week. Um, One of his Bibles, um, and she was alone. Yeah, Amanda says that story absolutely broke her heart, and she was alone. And that's the thing that bugs me. That's just a sad way. I mean, it could have been peaceful. Who knows? But I don't know. I had an adult friend that died of sleep apnea, and it's just weird. It's hard anytime you lose people just in that capacity, and I don't know. I guess it's never a good time, but man, that's just kind of lame. But Elvis has made the religious world news because a one of his Bibles, with his own like underlines and notes and stuff in it, sold at auction for between 120 to $150,000, with 23 bids that got it to that place. So, um, oh, now just giving a note that class 3 obesity is a new name for morbid obesity. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, the Elvis's Bible sold. Lenny Kravitz did an interview this past week where he announced that he has been celibate for a decade, because he wants to be more genuine in his relationship with God and let Christ be a defining factor in his next relationship. As he's been a rock star forever and gone through divorce and everything else, he says he wants his next relationship to be well balanced in Christ. And so he's been celibate for a decade now in this process. Um, that it's a spiritual decision for him and that he wants to uh, honor that and pursue it. And which is cool. Had this in my notes last week, but I forgot to say it. The Chosen has officially completed or begun the process to sever ties with Angel Studios, the studio that has put out The Chosen thus far, because The Chosen is claiming that Angel Studios is in breach of contract for not actually doing the promotion and things that they're doing. And if you've watched The Chosen on the Angel app, There's a pay it forward thing where somebody can pay for another person to be able to watch the show for free. Um, yeah, chronic health problems. It could have been anything. Comment on the Mandisa thing, but the Chosen said that out of the money that was given on the pay it forward option, only 40% went to the show and 60% was taken by Angel Studios for their own business and advertising and some other things, and that they just had to work too hard to keep the show afloat, even though they had a studio producing. So we'll see how that plays out. The show's officially is coming to the CW for season 4, and you're going to get to see a bunch of different places if you're looking for it. Charlotte, the stingray in North Carolina that magically became pregnant, has officially lost her pups. Um, in just a miscarriage level situation. So they just said that she's no longer pregnant, and they didn't go into a ton of detail. But everybody was kind of waiting for this pseudo immaculate conception stingray situation to happen, and it didn't go all the way through. You can read some more details with them and with the aquarium that's housing her. There are giant venomous spiders, the Joro spiders that are in China, are projected to start arriving in New York in the nearish future. These are spiders, giant venomous spiders that have learned to build basically paragliders out of their own webs and are flying now. So spiders that have built aircraft are coming for us. Merry Christmas. Um, a little while back, Elon Musk and Starlink donated satellite phones, global phones, internet, and smartphones to uh, tribes that were um, to tribes in Brazil that were remote and didn't have technology. And they are now reporting that the tribe that was given Starlink phones are struggling because they have become addicted to their phones, to adult entertainment, and to online scams. Um, yeah, Tristan doesn't want to need flying spiders, giant venomous flying spiders. But they're just shocked and surprised that literally all it took was a few weeks and the whole region has become addicted to their phones. And they're blaming Elon Musk. Um, I think I get what happens with full freedom with no accountability, but that's a lot. Um, in China, off of the Chinese Central Television building, um, workers were left suspended 768 feet up from above the ground after a storm blew them off the side of the building, but they were hanging from harnesses and ropes. So that's kind of bonkers. They just kind of hung there in the middle of a thunderstorm and big wind. Mexico is set to elect their first female president. Claudia Sheinbaum is forecast to win by a landslide. And David Tepper, who owns the Carolina Panthers, is proposing a deal with the city of Charlotte for $800 million to renovate the stadium and keep the Carolina Panthers in North Carolina. But it will be paid for by city taxes. Um, and people are upset because David Tepper has $20 billion and he wants the city of Charlotte to pay taxes to renovate the stadium. If you are a fan of the kid slash animated franchise of Hotel Transylvania, there's a new installment coming in 2025 called Motel Transylvania, where they build a little hotel in California or a motel and move forward with that. Today is officially Pat Sajak's last day at Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, it's officially today. So that's where that's going. If you are a Wheel of Fortune fan, it is the end of an era. And lastly, if you've seen Pharrell is doing a biopic that is going to be made completely with Legos, called Piece by Piece. Um, but Pharrell in an interview said the film is about my life and how God is continuing to give me the pieces to put it together. And so he said that God is the center of his whole story, and he looks forward to using this medium to tell it. So that's about all of my news. I've been knee deep in travel and VBSing and superhero Bible telling. So I haven't done a lot of news research this week. Do want to leave you with one Bible verse. I'm not doing the whole dice thing because, again, resources. This was a verse that I read doing a Bible study this week. Acts chapter 17, uh, verse 27. Acts 17:27 says, God did this so that they would seek him, perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us. I was doing a Bible study about, why I do faith and fandom, and how I really like to I look at Paul in Acts 17 as kind of a model between Acts 17 and 1 Corinthians 9 for why I do what I do, how I do. And that verse is just one that really hit. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him. One translation actually says grope for him, though he is not far from any one of us. And I just love the fact that, that statement says that he's not far from any one of us. Um, but yeah, Patreon supporters, you're amazing. I'm not going to go through the whole list here because we're about to get going with our day. Actually, I got time. I think. But David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family. Um, click on this thing right here. Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Candace Davis, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, Zach Harris, whose house I'm staying in, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for being amazing and supporting the way you do. This next week is going to be a big kickoff week as we're heading into Heroes Con, the biggest show of the year so far for me. So pretty excited about that. But thank y'all for taking the time to listen, and I hope you have a great day.